side. Smith got a touchdown, Carolina Panthers.
He's a Pro Bowl receiver who was called the best offensive player in the league by the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year. But Steve Smith wasn't always on top. In fact, he began his football career as an unknown talent at Santa Monica Junior College in Los Angeles. To fully appreciate his road to the top, we are going back to that junior college, back where it all started. And we say good morning to Smith's junior college coach, Robert Taylor. Robert, when did you know that Steve Smith was a special player?
Well, Steve Smith, we recruited Steve Smith as a defensive back here at Santa Monica College back in 1997, and we watched him in an all-star game. He got beat deep, so we figured, no, that's not going to work. So we made him a wide receiver, and Steve has always had the knack, and as he's doing for the Panthers, to make big plays. And he could run real well. He's a little guy at that time, and he didn't drop any balls, and he was a very nice talent, very nice talent.
You mentioned didn't drop balls, an undersized guy. Why has he been able to be so successful? Because he has had to battle the size limit that he's had against players.
Well, I think all of Steve's career, all of his life, he's been branded an underachiever, and no one really gave him a lot of credit, especially going through high school, that he would ever be successful at anything. And I just believe that that 5'9.5" is working for him. He's fooled a lot of people. That the prototype NFL receiver, 6'1", 6'2", he's 5'9.5". He just goes out every week and says, I'm 5'9.5", but I'm really playing like I'm 6'2", and I'm going to show you. So don't make it a big thing about my height.
You know, I was reading an article recently where he credited you with having an impact on him. How were you able to have an impact on him personally and even professionally?
Well, Steve and I are pretty close. I consider him one of my sons, I guess. I got about 900. but I consider Steve one of my sons. Going back, I had to suspend him from a football game. He had 3 or 4 fights in practice in a week, and I brought him in the office, and I asked him, why you've had so many fights this week, Steve? And Steve said, I don't know. I said, are you mad at anybody? I don't know that either. I said, well, until you find out that you're going to know, I'm not going to let you play. I took something away from him that he loves to do, that's play football. And I told him that, and I needed him that week, too. Sometimes in coaching, you got to make a decision between the game and a player. And I made a decision with him as a player that I might lose a football game this week, but I wasn't going to lose him. And we lost, and I needed him. And he came in Monday with his head down and said, Coach, we lost. I said, I know, Steve. Can I play this week? I said, Steve, you going to have a fight this week? No. I never had another problem with him. And he's been a good person all along. We've been close, and we stay in contact.
When was the last time that you spoke with him?
I spoke with Steve on Tuesday, matter of fact.
What did you talk about?
Well, the first thing he said, Coach, he said, I'm getting a lot of phone calls with media people, and there's going to be some calls. Can you handle it? I said, Steve, be a pleasure. I can handle it. So it's been a pretty busy week. We talked a little bit about the football game and how the Panthers were preparing and hoping to win. And he says he's going to do what he has to do for a team effort to win.
You know, he's not the only one, obviously, in the pros right now that has been under your tutelage. Isaac Bruce also. And then at the same time that Smith was there, Chad Johnson. What were Chad Johnson and Steve Smith like as teammates?
First, they were a handful. You know, my job was to make sure that I kept my foot on their necks every day so they would do everything right. Everybody knows that Chad Johnson is a character, and he was more of a character with us. We tried to keep him in control. Steve was a kind of a catalyst with him, and they're very good friends, and it was quite a pleasure with him. Isaac played for us in '91, and he's our what I could say, pardon me, but you're the elder statesman of our football program.
Right.
You know, he's got 12,000 yards as an active wide receiver and probably a candidate for the Hall of Fame in the future.
Did you know Chad Johnson had the touchdown dancing ability in him when you had him there?
If he had it at Santa Monica, we were not going to let him exhibit it. You know, period. You know, all these things these guys are doing after the touchdown between Steve and him. You know, I'm amazed, and it's quite entertaining. It's quite entertaining, and to see Chad doing interviews and Steve doing interviews, and I watched one the other day, and Steve said something philosophical. I almost fell out of my seat on the philosophical stuff, but that's good. That's a part of growing up, so it's working.
Well, we're glad that you were able to have an impact on their lives, and glad that you could talk with us about it a little bit today. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And there were a lot of other notables who also attended Santa Monica, not just in the football ranks. Actor Dustin Hoffman and Hilary Swank. Olympic swimmer Lenny Krayzelberg was also there. Former White House intern Monica Lewinsky. And the Terminator himself, California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, who delivered last year's graduation address. Tom?